You're listening to the Ricky C. Williams podcast, where we delve deep into the complex world of anger. And in each episode, we explore what triggers it, how it affects our lives, and most importantly, how we can manage it. Hello, this is Ricky Williams, and thank you for being here. This is episode 10 of the podcast, and just want to say thank you for coming back each and every week to listen, learn, and to grow. This is the number one anger management podcast in the world. And today we're going to be discussing how people come into your life and try to manipulate you. And of course, we've all been through that at some point in time. As long as we date or even interact with other people, it is going to happen. So it's very unfortunate that people play so many games, and especially when it comes down to manipulation and control. So what we're going to discuss today are some of the tactics that people use. And again, I say people, I try not to do man versus woman because it never goes anywhere. Okay. So if I say man versus woman, we're just bumping heads. But within my podcast and within this space for me, we come together and we continue moving, which means I'm going to say people. Now, a lot of times I'm going to use myself as a reference, and I'm attracted to women, and I'm going to sometimes use women and the things that they do, but the majority of the time, it's going to be people. And that's how this is going to work today. So, people who manipulate you. Here are some things that we have to do is recognize some of the red flags that people use. And I'm going to say not all people are manipulative. There are some really good people out here in the world, but there are some people who are not. Let's be clear. And it's unfortunate, but in today's society, people are trying to get what they can get and continue to move on with their own lives, and people are selfish. There are a lot of good people out here in this world as well. So I will never just say all people because I'm not that type of person. So let's get into this environment where people are always trying to control you. That's the very first tactic that they try to do. And it's very subtle. It's not overly aggressive of how they do that. And so, again, one of the ways that people do this is, how do I isolate them from their friends or their family? Or how do I isolate them from people of influence? You know, um, every time you want to do something, go somewhere with your friends, your family members, people who you hold in high regard, for some reason, they always have other plans. They always have other things that we should do, or, I'm not feeling well, my stomach hurt. Can we just stay home? Something subtle. It's like, oh, I care for you. Yeah, we can stay home, or we'll just reschedule for another time. And that other time never comes. So, one of the things that people do is trying to consume all of your time by saying they may have health issues. They may have other things that they want to do. Hey, let's go on a picnic when you're supposed to be going to the football game, or let's have a picnic when you're supposed to be going shopping with your girls. Let's do something else. These are things that manipulative people do to try to isolate you. They even try to isolate you from social media. I hear so many people on the internet talk about how, well, you shouldn't post this and you shouldn't do that. Am I trying to protect you, or am I trying to manipulate and control you? See, these are things that you have to step back and say, hey, let's have a conversation. A lot of times, good people don't want to rock the boat, but we have to talk about the boundaries, because if we don't, a manipulative person will use this control tactic to get you away from doing things. They will socially isolate you. And it's a slow process. It's not something, again, like I said before, something that happens immediately. It's just a slow process, and is going to slowly engulf you into being controlled and manipulated. So, one thing that we have to do is, if a person is saying these things, we have to truly know if this person is being genuine or if this person is trying to control you. It's like for some reason you're moving forward, then you get with this person, and all of a sudden everything that everyone else is doing is negative. They always find something, they start nitpicking, and then you slowly start moving back from these people because it's like, why would this person lie to me? Maybe I don't see things that they see. And in all actuality, it's just their attempt to isolate you. Now, we're going to move to the second tactic people use to manipulate you, which is love bombing. Crazy business, but it's real. In the beginning of most relationships, everyone is laughing and talking and getting to know one another. But a love bomb, outside of just talking and get to know one another, excuse me, is when um, it's just it's just an overwhelming display of affection. Too quick. I was like, we just met 3 days ago, and you calling me Bay already. We are laughing and joking, talking, or we probably go out to grab dinner, and now you're laying on my chest, or I'm throwing my arm over you, like, yeah, babe, this is us, it's us forever. We need to sit back and think like that. You don't know my middle name yet, and yet you are trying desperately to give me all this love, attention, and affection, and it becomes short lived. Now I want it. Now it's becoming short lived. Now, what we do with that is, how do we set that boundary of, hey, I want to get to know you, but this is just a tad bit too much right now. Let's slow down. And there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries. I think when they get manipulated, they don't set the boundaries, but we have to. And prime example, this young lady that I met, within 2 days, she's calling me bae. We go out to eat. I pick her up. As we're driving back from the restaurant, she's laying on my shoulder while I'm driving. That's too quick. I don't know your middle name. I know your first name. We're hanging out. I'm getting to know more about you. The hey bae, let me lay on you while we're driving. That's 6, 7, 8 months down the road. That's not second date. But that's what's happening. So we had to have a conversation of, we can talk, but I don't think I've done enough to be your bae right now. I don't think I've done enough for you to lay on me right now. This is like the second date. It's not even anything that we've established. You don't know that I have asthma. Yeah, you don't know these things as of now. But um let's not move too fast, because that love bombing, though it's a dopamine hit and it feels great, we know that that's short lived. And um, really, we need to ask ourselves during this phase of someone trying to give us so much love and so much attention, do we even like this person? Do we even want to be around this person? And if not, let's not accept that type of emotion from that person, because love bombing is real, and they probably think that, hey, we need to move fast because I've been through so many relationships and I don't want to be alone. It could be so many things that they're trying to do so they can manipulate their way into your life. So love bombing is number two, is something that we need to recognize and understand. Now, from that phase of being love bombed, we have to look at what happens next. What's the next step? Now, from love bombing, we can turn to anger, because now they're around you. Now they can show their true self. So, a lot of people who manipulate, when you get into an argument, they always try to deflect everything, right? It's never their fault. They're always the victim. You're the guilty one. You're the guilty party. You're the villain, and they're the victim. That always happens within a person who's trying to manipulate you. And I know if you sit back, you start thinking like, "Hey, you know what? That's kind of true." I've always, when I'm talking to this person, it's always my fault. How does that happen? And it's always my fault. That is the most amazing thing to you. And then you start saying, is it my fault? Did I do what that person said? And now this is a great way of getting you to second guess everything about yourself. See, abuse comes in so many different ways. And like I said, most people think that it's so grandiose, but it isn't. It's subtle things. It's paper cuts. It's not a sledgehammer. I'm going to get to it, but I'm going to hit you with 1,000 paper cuts. And you start like, did I? Did I do this? Did I? Did I? And a lot of times you start second guessing, and then you start looking like, maybe I did do this. And then they got you. So now they're turning their anger on everything that you're doing. And now you're trying to be the person that's trying to rectify the situation. And while you thinking that you're rectifying the situation, actually you start walking on eggshells. So here's a way that when someone tries to use anger as a way to manipulate you, when you're talking about a subject, when they try to turn it on you, it's like, no, we're going to stick to the topic. Prime example, this young lady who I talked to a few years ago actually moved down here to be with a married man. And when I found out what was going on, the first thing she said was, well, you know, when we first started talking, you was talking to somebody. It's like, yeah, but we like 4 or 5 months in. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We're going to discuss this piece here. We're going to go with this bracket here. We can talk about what I did 4 or 5 months ago in chapter 2. Chapter 1, this is what we focus on. Period. This is what we're going to discuss. Don't allow a person to deflect and try to put it back on you. A great way to talk to someone who's trying to turn the tables on you is to stick to one subject. No, we don't need to go get ice cream. We don't need to talk about what happened to me as a child. We need to talk about this topic right here, which is bothering me at this point. So never allow a person to turn the tables or constantly say it's your fault. We're going to focus on one topic at a time, not two or three, just one. So always remember a person who's trying to manipulate you may try to use anger, then turn the tables and say that you're the villain. But we now know, nope, we're going to talk about one topic. No, you cannot love bomb me because now you try to take it away, then you try to use anger. We're not going to have this. Now, another tactic number 4, is using good sex. That good loving, body rocking, knocking boots all night long. Shout out to H Town for that amazing song. Let you know that I'm Gen X. I'm 48 years old. And I want to tell you that a lot of people try to use good sex to manipulate you. See, most people know who's very manipulative that that builds a bond, an attachment, and sometimes dependency on their sex. And they know they're great at that. They got some men who can put it down. They got some women who can, man, rock your world. And so they use these different tactics to control you because they understand that there's a soul tie there. They understand that you probably haven't had it like they know how to put it down. And now they are doing that so often that the sex is so good and it's so mind blowing that you forget everything that they've done. everything that they've done. And this is something that you cannot do. Though we all want physical touch, we all want intimacy, we all want that affection. We cannot allow any of that to cloud our judgment, because with that, we we don't see their true intentions, because we're so focused on that dopamine hit. We're so focused on the touch. We're so focused on spooning. We're so focused on intimacy that we have missed the biggest red flag that they're trying to control, isolate, manipulate. They're trying to harm you, take money from you, control everything, because they know that you like that touch, that intimacy. A lot of people have lost time um, from family and friends because they're just so caught up with that person. Um, a lot of times I talk to my clients and I tell them, hey, you know what? Let's pause from having intimacy for a few months. It's rough. Take it from me as a man. It's rough. Women, it's rough. But getting to know a person without that touch, you get to see things, because I'm telling you, sex is blinding, man. Sex, whew, Jesus, it's blinding. You don't see all the red flags because it's this person. I know for me, if you're between 5'7" and 5'11", good God Almighty, and you know how to put it down in a bedroom, I will miss every flag in the universe. You could have a big red flag waving in front of me. You could put it in the bedroom. I'm not going to see it. But then when you stop and look and you say, you know what, let's just talk. Let's not have sex. We're not listening to H-Town. We actually focusing. Let's do that. You get to see things. You get to see people for who they are. But if you're trying to blow my mind, I won't be able to see things. I won't be able to see your character. I won't be able to see who you are. But if I get to talk to you and get to see how you are, then I get to see whether or not you are for me. So let's focus on that. And now, moving on to the next um, manipulative tactic, it's when you start talking and stop having sex. Now, people start to play on your sympathy. Let's think about that. So now we decided, hey, you know what? Let's not have sex. There's the love bombing. We put boundaries around that. You can't isolate me. Now we're talking. Now I get to know who you are. And if everything is poor me, I'm the victim. If that's the only thing they talk about, oh, my ex did me so wrong. It's all my ex fault. That person abused me. That person cheated on me. That person stole money from me. My dad always said this. If I would come to him and I said, oh, my ex girlfriend, especially in college, oh, my ex girlfriend did this. First thing my dad said, oh, yeah, that's something, son, but what did you do? See, we never ask in relationships, what did you do? Tell me what you did. The woe is me, poor me, that's cool. But no one wakes up and say, you know what, I'm going to hurt this person. Everyone had a part in the demise of their relationship, even though a lot of times we don't want to say it. So if a manipulative person is always woe is me, you need to sit back and say, since we're not having sex, what did you do? I can empathize and sympathize but I need to know what you did. Because both of you guys contributed to either the growth or the demise of a relationship. So here's the thing, we need to talk to understand. And if they're always saying, poor me, if your relationship ends, it's going to be the same thing. You're at fault. So talk to the person, understand the person, and also limit how that person talks about their past. Like, oh, my dad sucked, so therefore I'm abusive. Okay. My mom was terrible, therefore I cheat. Word. Here's the thing, we're going to talk about you and how are you accountable? Because at the end of the day, why didn't you get help if you saw that you became a cheater or a beater or a user, a manipulator? We need to actually listen and not just go with the, oh, woe is me. I feel for you. That person is terrible. So now you're going to be looking at parents, friends, co-workers as the worst people in the world when that was never truly the case. I taught anger management for 7 years, and a lot of times when I was listening to some of my clients, and they always had like daddy issues. My dad wasn't there. He was terrible. He sucked as a person. My thing was, did you ever ask him what happened between he and your mom? Oh no, he's just a terrible person. So I'm not gonna give you no woe is me moment. You are taking my anger management classes because you're court ordered to take it because you did something violent and you're saying that it's your dad's fault. Now, everyone plays a role. However, you need to understand decisions that were made before you were even born. Um, it took two. And a lot of times when people speak to their fathers, they get the story. And when they get the story, it's like, so my mom did something too? Or if they're living with their dad, they talk to their mom finally, and it's, so my dad did something. Because everyone wants to play the victim. Here's the thing, everyone's a victim. Best way to look at the situation, everyone involved are victims, because if everyone was born with a handbook, everyone would be perfect, but that's not the case. And when these men found out that, hey, you may not even be my dad, how you gonna look at your mom? Or, hey, dad, I didn't know you ran my mom away. You made yourself to look like you're the perfect person and you're actually the villain. How am I going to handle the situation? Again, no one's perfect, but at the same time, we cannot try to use anything that happened in our past to say that that's why I did what I did to you in my present. I can listen to you, I can understand, but everyone will be held accountable within the equation of life. That's how you can stop the manipulation tactic with those who are trying to play the role of victim all the time. It's like, nope. If you were in a relationship, what happened? What happened here? Why? Because if you're always the victim, I need to pause on you. I can respect you by saying, oh, I did cheat on my significant other. It was terrible. I made some poor decisions in the past. Now you're human. I can I can rock with somebody who's human. So one thing that you need to do, this is just a way of keeping you focused and understanding the red flags, is when a person is trying to use sympathy. No, we're all going to be held accountable. So here's another thing that goes on. This is another um, tactic, which is gaslighting. Now, this makes you question your own reality, leading you to doubt everything. Like, really, man? People will gaslight you and make you doubt your very existence. Your very existence. If we're out at a function and I'm laughing at a joke, and all of a sudden it's like you just laughing too hard and you doing this and you must like her. Every time we go somewhere, you laughing at female jokes. Yeah, if it's funny, I'm gonna laugh. But the fact that they will make you question everything. They'll just say, "Oh, because when people say gaslighting, I say nitpicking. I mean, it's like they're laser focused. Like if you step away to speak to a friend, or you left me here for a minute. How dare you leave and go speak to somebody and you didn't bring me over there? I was like, well, you have legs, you could walk too. I just wanted to say hello to one of my fraternity brothers or to one of my sorority sisters. You are really nitpicky. You will not get me to second guess who I am or second guess or how I'm treating you. People will try to make people manipulative people, not just regular people. Good people won't do this, but those who are trying to gaslight you will make you doubt everything. And the only thing that you have to do is when people do that, nitpick or gaslight, is to just stand firm in what you believe. No, I didn't. Well, yes, you did. Well, next time you don't have to come because I'm going to be me. Again, you're trying to control how I react to certain things. Don't do that. I am not crazy, but people are trying to make you feel crazy who's trying to manipulate and gaslight you. So never ever feel as if you are crazy. Like, did I do that? I remember I stepped 2 steps away, but I didn't know. You felt that way. Next time I'm going to no, 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 no. I speak to people. Sometimes I go up to people, sometimes people come up to me. Well, you didn't introduce me to the person. Well, you've met them before. And I introduced you then. Well, you didn't introduce me this time. And no, it's not going to happen. So always stand firm when someone is trying to gaslight you or make you feel crazy. Stand firm. Another thing that people try to do is destroy your self esteem. This is, I think, the lowest form of manipulation, right? By trying to control you, they're going to lower your self esteem. Oh, you fat such and such. Oh, you can't make money. Oh, you don't make 6 figures. Oh, you not 6 feet. Oh, well, you not a size 6. And it's so many different things that people will say to lower your self esteem to try and control you. They will always talk about your shortcomings in their mind because it's not a shortcoming in yours. If I'm not making 6 figures, that does not make me less of a person. If I'm not a size 6, that doesn't make you less of a person. But if someone is trying to use that to control you, manipulate you to say that you need me, that person is not for you. And you need to recognize that. I was making it before I met you. Now all of a sudden I need you. No, I choose to be with you. And here's the thing that no one talks about on the internet. I want to give it to you. Be with someone who has options. You build yourself up to where you have options. Because if you choose me every day and I choose you every day, that's the best relationship to be in. Because we have other people to choose, but we decided I'm not choosing that person. I'm choosing you every day. That person is not trying to manipulate you, trying to say that you are less than who you are. That's not the case. A person who cares for you will enhance everything about you. Everything about you. So, again, your confidence should be high. And when you're with a person, it should stay high. If you see that your confidence is going down, you need to leave this person because they are trying to pull you down so low that you won't leave. I tell people all the time, if you are in an abusive relationship, is because they beat you down so much that you don't leave. People ask, why don't they leave? Why don't they leave? Again, they've isolated you. They tried to control you with sex, giving it to you all the time, taking it away from you. They try to gaslight you. And one of the biggest things, they will try their hardest to destroy your self-esteem. If you do not address these red flags in people, because you have to be firm in understanding and looking at people, talking to people, listening to people, try not to have sex with them in the beginning. I know it's tough because it feels amazing. But take time to get to know the person. Listen to the person. Watch the person. Don't put expectations on that person. This is how you will improve yourself. This is things that you will get to notice and understand. And once you start noticing people and understanding people, you get to see the red flags and you get to see the green flags. No one talks about the green flags. We will. I want to say thank you so much because you guys have always been and will be amazing. I am Ricky C. Williams of the Ricky C. Williams podcast. You could have been anywhere. You could be cooking. You could be walking your dog. You could just be playing around, but you decided to listen to me, and I thank you so much. And I hope this episode has helped you out. And I hope that you are going to take time and look at the red flags, set boundaries, and love yourself. Until the next time. And as always, GBG, go be great.